There I am. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, what was that about? Who knows? I guess I'll find out. Um, it's possible that Churchill Films or somebody on behalf of Churchill posted that and claimed the copyright because it did win an award. Um, so, where am I? Can you see me? All right, there I am. Sorry, everybody. Okay, where were we? Let's hope that this doesn't get taken down. Our art class makes a film. Enjoy.
Making a film involves a lot of research. My art class and I chose Marco Polo and his travels as the subject of our film, and our school library was a treasure trove of information. I shot color slides so as to have a pictorial record of the class's activity. Later, they proved to be helpful for this film. In the library, we researched how things looked in Marco Polo's time, and we made sketches. To make the figures of the people and the animals, we used paper mache. Lots of thought and experimentation went into making figures and objects, for on the screen, they had to give the impression of movement. This boat was pulled by a thin string, while our camera ran continuously. For some figures, we invented a way to give the illusion of movement. We fitted them with plug-in legs. A figure with one set of legs would be photographed for 2 or 3 frames. Then we'd move the figure slightly, plug in new legs, and shoot 2 or 3 more frames. The result? Motion on the screen. We experimented with wire figures.
And here's Marco Polo himself.
Our classroom was the studio.
And the workshop, too.
The camera was lent to us. Everybody learned to use it. Each time a scene was ready, we filmed it. Everyone took part in the film project in his own way, contributing his personal style, his personal interests. Everyone felt free to experiment with all kinds of materials and all kinds of ideas. One student even invented elaborate figures that would move mechanically. And now, let's travel with Marco Polo. Oops, little touch-up on the Venice set.
We're in Venice, Italy, in the year 1261. Venice at that time was a busy seaport.
Here is Marco Polo. He is about to go on a long voyage with his father, a rich merchant. The first part of the voyage was to Baghdad, by ship and overland. Here is Baghdad. After some time in Baghdad, Marco Polo and his father continued their travels on to China.
It was called Cathay in those days. It was a perilous journey. There were bandits and fights. Over the mountains of Kashmir, they had to travel on yaks. They saw many mountain goats. And they passed before giant Buddhas carved out of the mountainsides.
They crossed the hot, dry Gobi Desert. At night they thought they saw evil spirits.
People were very superstitious in those days. And here they are arriving in China.
Marco Polo got to see the Great Khan, the ruler of China. They became friends.
Marco Polo was entertained at the Khan's palace.
The great Khan took Marco Polo everywhere.
In his honor, there was even an elephant parade of 5,000 elephants. This is the great Khan's personal astrologer. He read Marco Polo's horoscope.
Marco Polo also got to go on a tiger hunt. He got to see many strange people. Marco Polo saw mythological animals.
Not really, but he thought he did.
After many years, Marco Polo and his father prepared to return home. The voyage took many years and led them through India.
When they arrived back home in Venice after 24 years, scarcely anybody knew them, but they must have been glad to be home.
Huh. Did that just end? Yeah, mostly. But, oh man, what a great film. At first I was concerned because it was like a bunch of still slides. And I was like, oh no. But man, it got going. Big fan. What do I want to watch? Okay. Let's learn about radio broadcasting today. Enjoy.
Stand by, please.
Hello.
This is a nationwide radio survey. Were you listening to your radio just now?
No, I am not.
Were you listening to your radio just now?
Why, yes, I am.
To what program are you listening, please?
What program?
But there must be some law.
I am the law.
Why, I'm listening to the radio theater.
Of all the peoples of the world, the Americans stand most in fear of a moment's silence. For 82 out of every 100 U.S. citizens, radio provides each day in the year a sure and ever-present escape from their own lives into an ether universe of crackling news, music, costly entertainment, and romantic adventure. In recording U.S. listening habits, often strange and unpredictable, C.E. Hooper has made a profitable business of reporting the public's likes and dislikes to the industry and to the public itself. Hooper Ratings, the findings of this nationwide poll, although their accuracy is sometimes questioned, are accepted as convenient yardsticks for sponsors, producers, and performers alike. The survey indicates that the public remains stolidly faithful to the same radio performers year after year. Outstanding example of U.S. listeners' loyalty is Jack Benny, among the first 15 since 1934. To 20 million Americans, listening to the Benny program is a Sunday evening ritual. Consistently high in the public favor, troopers Fibber, McGee, and Molly first brought their homespun humor to the air in 1927.
So will attribute my air raid warden's helmet, Molly.
I wouldn't know where to look for it, dearie.
Oh, I know where it is. It's right here in the hall closet.
Oh, no, no.
I gotta straighten out that closet one of these days.
With Americans of all ages, quick-witted Bob Hope has built a solid reputation during the past 12 years as one of radio's top-ranking entertainers. The old comedy art of ventriloquism was brought to a new high level of popularity on the radio by Edgar Bergen, whose assistants, Charlie McCarthy and Mortimer Snerd, have by now overshadowed their creator as radio personalities.
How does the show look for Sunday, Bergen?
Well, I have part of the script here.
Yeah,
I'm explaining sound waves to you.
you are?
Now, when you throw a stone in a pool, what do you see going in all directions?
Frogs?
No. You saw waves.
Now, don't tell me what I saw. If they weren't frogs, I hope they're croaked.
You saw waves.
I not only saw frogs, but I eat them for dinner.
No. What do you think, Bill?
Well, we might tighten it up a little.
Yeah, tighten it up, yeah. And then throw it out.
The only commentator regularly rated in the top 15, Walter Winchell dispenses Broadway gossip, last-minute scoops, and his own highly charged personal opinions on the affairs of the world in a breathless mixture for Sunday night listeners. One of the most adult of the top favorites, veteran showman Fred Allen lampoons any subject, even radio itself.
Tell me, Mr. Moody, what are your feelings about the radio?
I don't hold with it, Bub.
Displeases you?
I don't hold with furniture that talks.
Well, you have a radio.
No, I had one in the hen house.
Yeah?
One day all the hens' nests would be empty. Next day every nest would have 2 eggs into it.
You mean?
The hens was listening to Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
In furnishing the American public its listening fare, the 400 independent stations and the 1,000 network-affiliated stations alike are able to exist for only one reason: the advertising of commercial products. Spending an average $400 million yearly, American industry sponsors more than half of all U.S. radio programs. In putting any program on the air, it is difficult but still necessary to please many people.
Say, instead of that, why don't we have the closet door pushed shut by the cat?
The cat? The sponsor would never go for that. Don't you know he's allergic to cats? And dogs and canaries, for that matter.
Well, how about having the girlfriend stick around till midnight and accidentally push the door shut?
Till midnight? Don't be silly. The network wouldn't let us have the guy and his girl alone in the house that late at night. Why, they're not even engaged. I think you'll like our script for the new show, Mr. Dunham.
If you don't mind, I'd like to hear that commercial first.
Certainly, Mr. Dunham, with pleasure. Girls, will you give us the new commercial? And don't forget that tempo.
Consolidated sardines, America's delight. Have a rich, tangy flavor with plenty of bite. Consolidated sardines are packed twice as tight. So eat consolidated, can't beat consolidated. Feed your stomach right.
That sounds pretty good. But couldn't you work in the name of the product just a little more?
The sponsor exerts virtually complete control over what the public hears, having the power to select the program he wants, to pick the hour for the broadcast, and to eliminate whatever material he dislikes. Yet for every $2 the sponsor spends, the listening public spends $3 on radio sets, repairs, and electric current. And since the airways are considered public property, the Federal Communications Commission is charged with the responsibility of protecting the people's interests. The FCC has the authority to grant or refuse licenses for broadcasting stations, based mainly on available wavelengths. And each 3 years, every U.S. station must apply to the Commission for license renewal. But throughout its 13-year history, the FCC rejected renewal applications only 4 times, while flagrant cases of transgressions against good taste and program balance continued unchecked. Pointing out radio's failure to live up to its obligation to the public, an FCC report indicates that most U.S. stations heavily overload their airtime with commercials. Guilty of such excessive commercialism are the thousands of programs of recorded music, which consume the bulk of airtime on most small stations, and are often sponsored by as many as 15 different products in an hour's broadcast.
And now let me tell you about McTavish's Skinless Weenies. Mmm. So long, so pink, so flavor-rich, with lots of tasty goodness. Mmm. Ask for McTavish's in the giant economy tin at your favorite grocer's. Tonight or tomorrow, sure. Remember the name, McTavish. And now, friends, for our next number today, bring you
Depressed by radio's blatant commercialism and appalled by its listening fare is 74-year-old Dr. Lee DeForest, one of radio's inventors.
To the National Association of Broadcasters, New York City. Gentlemen, what have you done to my child, the radio broadcast? He was conceived as a potent instrumentality for culture, fine music, the uplifting of America's mass intelligence. You have debased this child, dressed him in rags of ragtime, tatters of jive and boogie-woogie,
While admitting that there is considerable need for improvement, the industry itself replies that it still sends the public many noteworthy programs, which are too often overlooked in the general criticism of radio. The broadcasters point proudly to their news programs, most popular of any type of radio presentation, allotted 20% of all time on the air. And no other country in the world gives its listeners such complete radio coverage of sports events.
Meeting tonight from New York City. What should we do about Germany now? Meeting tonight!
As an example of radio's commendable features, the broadcasters refer to their discussion programs, where serious controversial subjects are openly debated before a nationwide audience.
First of all, however, Mr. Arnold, you're making me say something that I never dreamed of saying. You're saying that I'm trying under the old leadership to reestablish German industry. My God, I've been living under the Nazis so long that I think I'm a little more allergic to them than you are.
Judge Arnold wants to get in on this, Chairman. Judge Arnold? I don't think, Mr. Lochner, that you realize that you're setting up Germany under the old leadership, but that's the tragedy of it. That is what you're doing.
The public, represented by the studio audience, can have an active voice in the discussion.
My question is directed to Mr. Shirer. Mr. Shirer, how can the world be assured of a peaceful Germany?
I think one of our principal problems now in handling the German question is to carry out ruthlessly and honestly our denazification policy.
The networks are proud that they have enabled radio pioneers like Norman Corwin to present experimental programs in new dramatic forms. The documentary technique has been applied effectively in offering striking broadcasts on subjects of widespread interest. Such documentary coverage from the Library of Congress permitted the public to hear a broadcast at the unsealing of a collection of Lincoln's papers by the foremost Lincoln scholars.
And Mr. Sandberg, in our specific problems of the present time, what do you think would have been Mr. Lincoln's policy and attitude?
We can speculate, guess, surmise on some one dominant quality. I'd say that if today he sat as a counselor of the United Nations, he'd stress above all the quality of patience. Under all shifts of events and changes of circumstance, patience.
Truly great musical talent is available to the U.S. public via radio. Although a relatively small percentage of listeners tune in on classical music, the networks have spent millions of dollars to present artists like Arturo Toscanini, who have been a considerable influence in improving America's musical taste.
Promised he'd come right home from work today. On our wedding anniversary.
Among the most articulate of radio's critics is the New York Herald Tribune's John Crosby, whose thoughtful column reflects a tolerant concern for radio's future.
There are more violent extremes of good and bad in radio than any other popular art. The best of it is wonderful. The worst of it is moronic. The trouble is the bad programs outnumber the good ones about 20 to 1. So long as the advertiser runs the show, it'll always be that way. The broadcasters don't own their own souls. There's little hope for radio until they do. Oh, well. Radio's only 27 years old. If it doesn't improve within the next 27 years, it'll be time for all of us to get really angry.
Typical of entertainment which most critics of radio deplore, but the public enjoys, are the many types of audience participation shows.
Now, if you answer this question correctly, madam, you win $50. So try hard. Who was the father of our country?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Why, certainly. Who was the father of our country? What is the capital of the United States?
Washington?
Right. Give that lady those 50 crisp dollar bills.
High in the public favor are the elaborate clam bakes in which studio visitors competing for expensive prizes are encouraged to make fools of themselves.
Listen carefully for the animals now. Many queer sounds are heard on a farm. From the barn comes the sound of contented cows.
Moo!
Quite a while, Mrs. B. To herald the day in his usual way, you'll hear the old rooster say, They missed him. Still doing his best to outdo the rest, the shaggy old dog yelps. Not to be outdone when he sees the sun, the cute little duck goes. To top off the din, all the pigs chime in. And the clear miss. Well, Mrs. Granite, you failed to get him 4 out of 5 times. So, men, who is the better half of the Granites family? Congratulations, Mr. Granat. The title of the better half of the family goes to you, and along with it, that beautiful big radio-phonograph combination. And for being such a good sport, Mrs. Granite, we'd like you to accept this brand new electric washing machine.
Most criticized of any type of program on the air today is the soap opera, which eats up 48% of daylight airtime. To all critics, the radio industry replies that 20 million housewives can't be wrong.
Irene, that's the way it is.
But, John, how could you deceive me like this? Doesn't our marriage mean anything to you?
It's hard for me to say this, Irene, but Eleanor and I love each other.
You should know, Mrs. Black, that love matters more than anything else.
Don't talk to me about love, you vampire.
Irene, we're but straws in the wind. I shall leave you two to talk this off.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Black. There's no use talking. You must give him up.
You dare to talk to me like that, you love thief? Get out of my house. I don't give up this easily, and don't forget it.
Will Irene succeed in recapturing John's love? Will John go back to his job and return to his wife and children? For the answer to these human problems, listen in tomorrow, same time, same station.
Time marches on.
That Better Half game show. I'd watch that now. Yeah. The radio industry saying, we have 27 years to get it right. Of course, what happened? Television. All right, this last film, we're going to go long, but it's worth it. This is Youth Behind the Badge, and it's about a youth traffic group in Berkeley, California. Made by our good friends at Golden State Productions, the same people who brought us Sudden Birth. Anyways, enjoy.
The happy scene of carefree school children at play is a reminder of our obligation to provide protection for these leaders of tomorrow. Of the utmost importance to our civic government is the responsibility of rendering safe the street crossings by which our youth makes its way to and from school. Without adequate crossing protection, the way is hazardous. In 1923, recognizing the need for a specific traffic safety program for its school children, Berkeley's school and police departments organized the Berkeley Junior Traffic Police. Governed by an advisory council composed of representatives of the schools, parents' organizations, and the police department, the organization was designed to provide crossing protection and at the same time offer training for youth in responsibility and leadership. Its organizational structure and rules and regulations are embodied in the manual of the Berkeley Junior Traffic Police, established by its advisory council and approved by the California State Board of Education. A regular officer of the Berkeley Police Department is appointed by the Chief of Police to serve as the director of the Junior Traffic Police, with the captain of the Patrol Division and the director of the Police Department's Traffic Bureau. The JTP director coordinates the activities and training of the junior officers. Male students of satisfactory scholastic standing above the 4th grade may apply for membership in the Berkeley Junior Traffic Police. Applications are reviewed by teachers and the school's principal, who consider the applicant's qualities of scholarship, dependability, and leadership. The names of qualified students, carefully selected in order that they may command the respect and obedience of their schoolmates, are posted in a place of honor. Following the posting of the names of the qualified students, the school's traffic sponsor, a teacher appointed by the principal to directly supervise the individual school's patrol, distributes registration cards to the boys selected for duty. This is a day to be remembered, a wonderful experience to be shared by a boy and his parents, when the student rushes home with his parent permission card and the news of his selection for service. His enthusiasm for the responsibility of the job ahead is very apparent as he urges his dad to give him the written consent required before he may get his appointment. In addition to the parent's signature on the permission card, the signature of the candidate indicates his willingness to do his best to fulfill the duties of a member of the Junior Traffic Police. The candidates are appointed by the Chief of Police after their applications have been approved by the school principal and the director of the Junior Traffic Police, who administers the oath of office. Each officer promises to faithfully perform the duties assigned to him, to obey the rules and regulations, to conduct himself in a gentlemanly manner, and to set a proper example for his fellow students. Now the instruction of the new officers begins as the recruits intently study the techniques of semaphore operation as performed by veteran squad members in the schoolyard. After a period of instruction, the recruits have their opportunity to show what they have learned under the critical eyes of their instructors. All training is supervised by the JTP director. Learning to follow instructions promptly and with precision is a vital part of the training of the new officers. They feel the responsibility of their position and recognize that the safety of their schoolmates depends upon the efficient operation of their squad. During their recruit training, the new officers receive the coveted uniform of the Berkeley Junior Traffic Police from their teacher sponsor. These are colors they will wear proudly, for they know the tradition of service they represent. Their pride in their service is reflected, too, in a desire to be neat and inspection clean while on duty. A sergeant's manual, prepared and approved by the Advisory Council, is distributed to newly appointed sergeants of the school squads. The manual assists the new sergeant with his added responsibilities and provides a section for squad records. On a street near the school, the director instructs sergeants in the proper judgment of distances, which will be of vital importance in squad operations. Control activity of the squads is coordinated with the movement of traffic. Each squad leader is carefully instructed in appraising traffic flow so that the patrol may function properly and children may cross the street in safety. Questions on traffic control and the operations of the squads are encouraged and answered by the director. After a course of schoolyard instruction, the recruit is permitted to go on duty as an observer, watching the squad in action so that he may better prepare himself for regular duty. When the school bell signals traffic time, whether in the classroom or on the playground, the young officers immediately report to their traffic rooms for their equipment. Furnished and maintained by the city, the patrol's equipment is neatly arranged in the traffic quarters of each school. Time is valuable, as the squads must be in full uniform at their assigned corners without delay. 5 minutes is allowed for this purpose. A duty roster board indicates each officer's assignment. The seriousness of his job is uppermost in each boy's mind, and all other activities become of secondary importance as he prepares for the regular scheduled duty. Semaphores are removed from the racks, and with all equipment in order, the officers report to their squad assembly area. During rainy weather, brightly colored rain gear protects the young officers, who are always ready to serve. In snappy precision, justly proud of their appearance, the squads march to their assigned corners to set up crossing protection. School's out, and hundreds of children stream out of the building on their way home. They respect their junior traffic police and have the assurance that they will be protected at busy intersections near the school by their guardians of the crosswalks. Children who arrive early at the street crossings await the arrival of the squad. Crossing protection is set up in strict accord with the regulations established by the California State Board of Education. A sergeant and a corporal will take their positions at the control point. Semaphore officers will be stationed at each end of the crosswalk and at points 100 feet in either direction from the crosswalk. All semaphore officers will move out at the signal of the sergeant, but never further than the width of a parked car. Approaching motorists are alerted by advance crossing signs painted on the street 200 feet in each direction from the crosswalk and must stop within a safe distance of the semaphore officer. With heads erect, each boy in step, the officers approach their crossing, the sergeant giving the commands and the corporal counting cadence. Semaphores at their sides, the alert officers respond to the order to fall out and take their posts. When his men are in position and the proper traffic gap is observed, the sergeant blows one blast on his whistle and each officer takes his control position. Not until he has double-checked traffic conditions and has assured himself that all officers are properly stationed does the sergeant permit the children to cross. When the group has crossed, the sergeant blows his whistle twice to signal his officers to return to their curb positions. Each boy offers the example of a well-trained officer. Every effort is made to instill into each member the feeling of pride in his organization and the service it provides. Ready and alert for the sergeant's signals, the officer follows them promptly. Talking and playing on duty are not permitted. To observe these young officers at work safeguarding their schoolmates without immediate adult supervision is to appreciate the true feeling of responsibility they hold for their job. At crossings controlled by automatic signal lights, the children are kept on the sidewalk until the green light indicates they may cross. Only the assembled group of children is permitted to cross, and latecomers must wait for the next green light. Where few children cross at quieter intersections, full patrols are not necessary, and escort officers are used to lead the school children across the street. Another duty assignment completed, the sergeant blows 3 blasts of his whistle and his squad forms at the corner. They quickly march back to their quarters where they will put their equipment in place, then return to their classrooms without disrupting the class. Little school time is lost. For those school children who are late, a straggler squad remains on duty for a short time after the main squad has returned to the schoolyard. When careless or indifferent motorists fail to obey the signals of the junior traffic police, the license number of the offending auto is recorded by 2 officers of the squad. Violation cards are independently prepared by each officer, and a report is made to the school principal, who checks the cards for accuracy. A report of the violation is made to the Berkeley Police Department, and a reprimand or appropriate court action follows their investigation. During their routine patrol duty, the regular officers receive snappy salutes from the junior patrolmen who have earned the respect of the city's lawmen. The director spends a minimum of 30 minutes with each school unit at weekly drill periods in which every patrol member eagerly participates. During these drill sessions, the boys become accustomed to the commands of their leaders and learn to act as a unit. Again, there is a question and answer period. These meetings not only promote the efficiency of the patrols, but also aid in furthering the friendly relationship between the boy and his police department. As the school traffic administrator, the teacher sponsor offers instruction and encouragement to his platoons and reminds them of their individual responsibilities. This guidance is essential to the success of the Junior Traffic Police program. Once a month, the commanding officers of each school patrol inspect the uniforms of their platoons. Every officer is required to have his name in both garments. Inspections are thorough, and demerits are given for untidy equipment. Each officer's record reflects his performance. Merits are awarded for satisfactory service, and these merit ratings receive great consideration when the time comes for promotions to higher ranks. No other incentive is needed by these young officers who make every effort to warrant the approval of their sergeants. The benefits of this valuable training are brought into the home and are carried over into later life. It's not all duty and training for the Junior Traffic Police. Free admission to Saturday movies is extended to patrol members by citizens who recognize the value of this traffic safety organization. The officer's identification card, issued at the beginning of each semester, is his free pass to an afternoon of entertainment. As an additional reward for devoted service, the boys attend football games at California's Memorial Stadium. The end-of-term dinners, sponsored by the Parent Teachers Association and Mothers and Dads Clubs, are happy occasions and a special delight of the junior traffic officers who obviously enjoy themselves at the dinner table. Most officers serve for 2 years in the patrol, and on graduation day, an honorable discharge signed by the Chief of Police, the school principal, the teacher sponsor, and the director is presented to each of the retiring officers. Always among the most popular boys in the student body, they receive a well-earned ovation from an audience of parents and fellow students. The director maintains a service record card on all patrol members, and the officer's record may one day prove to be a valuable character reference. At the Hall of Justice, the director is assigned an office which is always open to patrol members who have learned that a police officer can be a friend and counselor. Before the annual Junior Police Review and Inspection, commanding officers call on the director for a briefing on their parts in this colorful spectacle. When the big day arrives, the Berkeley High School band leads the entire corps in a parade through Berkeley's business district. Assembled into one battalion of over 800 strong, their bodies erect, eyes front, these devoted schoolboys are an inspiring sight as they parade before an admiring public. Since their first years in school, it has been their fervent desire to serve with the Junior Traffic Police and to take part in the annual review and inspection, which is the culmination of their ambition. As they march through Berkeley streets, applauding crowds share their tremendous pride in their organization. The patrols are identified by the banners of the individual schools. At the University of California's Edwards Field, the crowd gathers for the inspection ceremonies. Police officials from neighboring cities take their places with Berkeley's Chief of Police, representatives of the military services, the superintendents of Berkeley's public and parochial schools, and other dignitaries to watch the colorful display. The Junior Traffic Police Chorus of Burbank Junior High School offers a selection for the crowd's entertainment. School patrols enter the field and the ceremonies begin. Patrol units demonstrate their proficiency in drilling maneuvers. A semaphore squad moves as a unit as they follow the commands of their sergeant. The Corps' junior commander, chosen for this ceremony, is introduced to the inspection party by Chief Holstrom. Lined up in companies with company commanders, captains, top sergeants, corporals, and officers at rigid attention, the Corps awaits the inspection party. Following the inspection, the junior commander leads the entire corps as they pass in review. 35 years, the select group of schoolboys who have comprised the Junior Traffic Police has guarded Berkeley's school crossings. Hundreds of thousands of school children have been protected by the patrol, whose record of service has never been marred by a traffic fatality. Duty with the Junior Police has helped thousands of schoolboys to learn the meaning of responsibility, dependability, and the service ideal, grounding them in the principles of good citizenship while preparing them for positions of leadership in the adult community.
That was insane. Wow. I mean, the sad part of this, of course, is that if we look ahead to these young people, many of them went to Vietnam. And what else? The thing that came to mind was the Stanford prison experiment, where egregious human rights violations took place by the kids who were assigned to be part of the patrol. And then finally, the formations at the end and the inspection. Oh, wow. That's some adults kind of perverse, wanting to be in the military, but never was in the military. I don't know. That's my take on that. But phenomenal film. Holy cow. And thank you, Nathan and Kevin, for supporting us with a donation via the Super Thanks button. You can also donate via ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. You can also hit the thumbs up, the like. You can also subscribe. Those are great ways to support us. Subscriptions especially. So thanks for joining us on Boxing Day today. And we will be back again live tomorrow. So everybody have a great rest of your day. Don't go to malls or retail places right now. Just take a break. Give yourself a break if you have the day off. Relax. And that's what I'm going to do. And I finally tested negative for COVID. So, whee! All right, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.